Early morning, let's explore the 37th poem of the Tao Te Ching. Oopsie. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Rey Skywalker on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a question about philosophy or meditation or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. I think I'll tap button 5. That should do it. That should take me to Rosemary Anderson's translation of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao never acts, and yet nothing is not done. Were rulers able to hold to her, all things would transform on their own. Not an entity, but a system, eschewing agenda and flowing from centered spontaneity, thus needs, I need to modify that word to eschew. That's not it. Let's hit this. 1, 2, 3. And let's modify this word flowing to flow. And now it should make much more sense. Not an entity, but a system. Eschew agenda and flow from centered spontaneity. Thus needs are met in the most wonderful way. Woohoo, let's continue. First, got to make sure the display is still synchronized. When transformations does desire, quiet them with a stillness that has no name. Forcing tranquility in the name of centered spontaneity is far too much like making love in the name of virginity. Better still to flow with mindfulness and release in harmony with our respective inhalations and exhalations. During last night's meditation, under the thrall of hay fever-induced histamine, I was reliving some very painful experiences I had at a Vietnamese monastery. I persisted with the basic meditation, which I will explore in several minutes, and I was able to make peace with it. It did not burn out the parts of my brain that remembered that, but it helped me to make peace with the traumatic events I endured. And that's the greatest gift of meditation. It doesn't edit our memory. It doesn't edit our perception. If anything, it makes it more vulnerable, but it helps us to make peace with the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune. Let's continue. And by the way, if you want to say hello to me, introduce yourself in the chat window, you are welcome to, but it's not mandatory. Quieted by stillness that has no name, be free of desire. Free of desire, be still, in heaven and earth will order themselves on their own. So what I think I'll do is subject you to a minute of housekeeping. Every 12 hours, I broadcast 1 or 2 meditation classes for a potential total of 4 a day. These classes are without ads other than this. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you and you'd like to help out even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, simply use your smartphone's camera to capture this QR code, or merely click one of the donation links in the description area below the video. So let's see. Oh yes, as promised. I'm not sure if it's as promised, but what I'd like to do right now is go straight to this morning's practice, which is going to be the chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra on Samantabhadra's vows and practices. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Please chant with me. As many Buddhas as there may be in any world throughout the 10 directions, throughout past, present, and future, I honor them all, without exception, pure in body, speech, and mind. Now I'm going to do a quick edit. Insert. So I want to verify that the display is still synchronized. So now let's chant. With as many bodies as atoms in all lands, I bow to all Buddhas with a mind directed to all Buddhas, by the power of the vow of the practice of good. In a single atom, Buddhas as many as atoms, sit in the midst of enlightening being, so it is of all things in the cosmos. I realize all are filled with Buddhas. I laud all the Buddhas therein, expounding in our languages the qualities of all Buddhas within this oceans of manifestations. With the finest flower garlands, musical instruments, perfumes, and parasols, the finest lamps and incense, I make offerings to those Buddhas. With the finest cloths, fragrances, and mountainous baskets of aromatic powders, with the finest of all kinds of adornments, I make offerings to those Buddhas. Whatever be the best of offerings, I produce them for all Buddhas. By the power of devotion to the practice of good, I honor and serve all Buddhas. Whatever evil I may commit under the sway of passion, hatred, or folly, bodily, verbally, or mentally, I confess it all. So I'm going to use an alternate translations of the same ideas. So let's see. Oopsie. I'm going to italicize. Hating, craving, clinging. Okay. Let's continue. Whatever evil I may commit under this way of hating, craving, or clinging, bodily, verbally, or mentally, I confess it all. And whatever the virtue of beings everywhere who are saints self-conquerors, enlightening beings and Buddhas and all that I do rejoice. And the lamps of the worlds in the 10 directions who have realized enlightenment and attained non-obstruction, I seek as guides that they may turn the supreme will of teaching. I want to take a moment here to remind us, each of us, that the path of humility, the path of enthusiasm, is to be a lifetime learner. Now, an intelligent question is, how do we know if someone is a safe teacher, someone who will not harm us accidentally or maliciously? And the answer is, you won't. Here's the test. Receives teachings, apply them. If you apply them as little as 5 or 10 minutes every 12 hours for 7 consecutive days, and then notice your results, you can tell whether or not someone's advice has helped you or hindered you, has helped your peace, wisdom, love, and joy, or hindered it. If it's hindered it, find a new teaching or a new teacher or both. It's very simple. Here's the funny thing. If you give people the benefit of the doubt, they will act as if they were trying to strenuously show you what they really are. There was a wonderful, I'm not sure if you're as geeky like me, but before Star Wars, there was Star Trek, and there was an episode of Star Trek, I think it was called Mirror Mirror. And I think it was Uhura, I'm not sure. Definitely Kirk and someone else wound up in an alternate universe. At the end of the episode, Spock explained that it's easier for a good man to pretend they are evil than for an evil man to pretend they are good. So give people the benefit of the doubt. They will show you what they really are in no time flat. Their teachings will show you whether they are effective or not. You don't need to guess. It's always safe to be a lifetime learner. When that attitude is guided by the centered spontaneity that is a byproduct of effective Mahamudra meditation, then you will be led in the right direction. It would feel as if your choices, utterances, and deeds were rafts floating upon a river of centered spontaneity. Let's continue. And those who wish to manifest extinction, I respectfully petition to remain for aeons as many as atoms in the land, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. By honor, service, and direction, by appreciating, seeking, and requesting teachings, whatever good I have accumulated, I dedicate it to enlightenment. May the Buddhas of the past be honored, as well as those now in the worlds of the 10 directions, and may those be of the future beatis, filled with joy having realized enlightenment. So that's very cool. We've just wished that all beings everywhere become Buddhas, which is, I think, very cool. Which is the opposite of elitism, isn't it? May all the lands of the 10 directions be purified, supreme, and filled with Buddhas and enlightening beings of the tree of enlightenment. May all beings in the 10 directions be happy and well. May all beings righteous and be successful. May their hopes be realized. As I am carrying out enlightenment practice, may I recall in my lives in all... Take 2. May I recall my lives in all states. In every lifetime as I die and am reborn, may I always transcend the mundane. Learning from all Buddhas, fulfilling the practice of good. May I always practice pure conduct, ever free from defect. So what is pure conduct? According to the great Karma Chakme Rinpoche, the essence of all morality is simply non-violence. You can also turn for greater elaboration in the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The third, fourth, and fifth folds of the Eightfold Path are kind communication, kind conduct, and kind commerce. Practice centered spontaneity, cultivate centered spontaneity through a regular practice of mindfulness and meditation. And this kindness will become natural for you. May I expound the teaching in the languages of gods and dragons, in the languages of demons and humans, and of all living beings. May those engaged in the ways of transcendence not stray from enlightenment, and may all evils to be inhibited be thoroughly extinguished. May I traverse the paths of the world free from compulsion, affliction, and delusion, like a lotus unstained by water, like the sun and moon unattached in the sky, extinguishing all the miseries of past days and bringing all beings to happiness. May I act for the welfare of all beings in all lands everywhere, according with the conduct of sentient beings who are fulfilling the practice of enlightenment and cultivating the practice of good. May I thus act throughout future aeons. May I always be in communion with those who share my practice. Physically, verbally, and mentally, may I carry out these vows as one practice. So this is important right here. This line should not be ignored. In later verses, it'll be revealed that we practice this simply by meditating, not concentrating, but rather by blending mindfulness of the play of mind with each inhalation, and relaxing into the non-graspable nature of that awareness during each exhalation. This is all taken care of etherically and spontaneously. And may I always be with my benefactors who teach me the practice of good. May I never displease them. May I always see the Buddha's face to face, surrounded by enlightening beings. May I make fine offerings to them forever unwearied, preserving the true teachings of Buddhas, illumining the practice of enlightenment, and purifying the practice of good. May I practice thusly for all future aeons, migrating through all states of being, having acquired inexhaustible virtue and knowledge. So what do we mean by virtue? That would be love, kindness, enthusiasm, and the skills of mindfulness and meditation. May I become an inexhaustible treasury of wisdom and means, mindfulness, liberation, and all virtues. As I carry on the practice of enlightenment, may I see the inconceivable Buddha sitting among enlightenment beings, in the lands as numerous as atoms that are in each atom. Thus may I perceive the oceans of Buddhas and lands of all times, in each point in the 10 directions, as I practice for myriad aeons. Good morning, welcome to the live stream. If at any point you have a question about meditation or philosophy or the text on the screen before you, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. I'm not sure, did I get this one? Thus may I perceive the oceans of Buddhas and lands of all times, in each point in the 10 directions as I practice for myriad aeons. May I ever penetrate the eloquence of Buddhas, the voices of all Buddhas which adapt to mentalities, the purity of articulation of all Buddhas by the sounds of the ocean of tunes. That's what we call a typo. There we go. Into these infinite voices of all Buddhas of all times, may I enter by Buddha power turning the wheel of teaching. May I enter all eons of the future instantly. May I act in all eons of all times within an instant. So this is really cool. What is being inferred is that as we sit in meditation and we really get into it, as we empathetically practice mindfulness and meditation, we will feel, it can very much feel like, although our body is stable and our mind seems to do nothing but like a pendulum sweep back and forth between noticing and releasing, viscerally, it can feel like much more is going on. Let's continue. May I see all Buddhas of all times in one instant, and always enter this sphere by the magical power of liberation. Oopsie. May I produce the erase of all lands of all times in an atom. Thus may I perceive all the erase of Buddha lands in the 10 directions. Learning the teachings of the lamps of the world to come, may I visit all the gods who have passed away to eternal rest. My occult power swift and always by the power of knowledge all-sided, by the power of practice with all virtues, by the power of universal love, by the power of goodness all pure, by the power of knowledge unobstructed, by the power of enlightenment clearing away the power of acts, destroying the power of afflictions, empowering the power of demons. May I fulfill all powers of the practice of good, purifying oceans of lands, liberating oceans of beings, observing oceans of truth, plumbing oceans of knowledge, perfecting oceans of practices, fulfilling oceans of vows, serving oceans of Buddhas. May I practice untiring for oceans of aeons. So we're not talking here about postponing enlightenment. We're talking about, the Dalai Lama spoke of 3 flavors of bodhicitta. There is shepherd's bodhicitta, ferryman bodhicitta, and royal bodhicitta. And shepherd's bodhicitta, the bodhisattva is the last to be enlightened. In ferryman's bodhicitta, all are enlightened simultaneously. And in royal bodhicitta, first the bodhisattva is enlightened, and then empowered with enlightenment, he helps all others do likewise. According to the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, the 3rd is the most efficient. Let's continue. The lofty vows of enlightenment practice of the Buddhas of past, present, and future may I fulfill completely. Practice what is good and realize enlightenment. All who share in the practice of Samantabhadra, the sage of universal good, the foremost offspring of all Buddhas, I name them good. Pure in body, speech, and mind, pure in conduct with a pure land. As the sage Samantabhadra is named good, may I become this equally. May I carry out the vow of Manjushri to totally purify the practice of good, tirelessly through all future ages. May I fulfill all those tasks. May there be no limits to practice and no limits to virtues. Persisting in infinite practices, may I know all their miraculous creations. As long as the earth exists, as long as all beings exist, as long as acts and afflictions exist, so long may my vow remain. May I give the Buddhas all worlds and the 10 directions adorned with jewels. May I give celestials and human supreme happiness for aeons as many as atoms. Those who develop respect and let's see here. Okay, let's continue. Those who develop respect and devotion on hearing the supreme dedication, seeking supreme enlightenment, may they be most blessed. May they abandon all evils and all bad associations, and quickly see limitless light Amitabha, if they have this vow of enlightening practice. Great is their gain, worthwhile their life. Auspicious their birth as humans, may they soon be like the universally good enlightening being Samantha Bhadra Bodhisattva. May those who have committed hellish crimes under the sway of ignorance quickly put an end to them all when this practice of good is expounded. Endowed with knowledge, distinction, and nobility, invulnerable to false teachers and demons, may they be honored by all in the triple world. May they go quickly to the tree of enlightenment and sit there for the benefit of all beings. May they realize enlightenment, turn the wheel of teaching, and conquer the devil and all his cohorts. And this seems like an appropriate opportunity to meditate. So quick like a bunny, I'm going to switch gears and tap button, I think it's 9. So this meditation, this awareness and letting go, could serve as an antidote to clinging, while also slicing through the fundamental duality of dread and desire. This is known by many names, such as Zen, Shan, Jhana, Great Completion Stage, Mahasandhi, Ati Yoga, Sutra Mahamudra, and Trekcho Dzogchen. Here's the great irony. Despite the grandiosity of this terminology, one moment, if you please. I must do a quick edit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and let's do a cut and paste. 1, 2, 3, 4, and paste. I'm going back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I must open another document up for a moment. Please bear with me. I'll do my best to be just as quick as I can. And I'm back. Thank you for your patience. We're going to quickly review right view and right aspiration. They serve as an antidote to hating and are known by many names such as Ngondro, Vipassana, and contemplation. So here's the basic method. We're going to work with 3 rhetorical questions and 1 intention. During the inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite the first half of the rhetorical question, how could this? And during the exhalation, we're going to mentally recite the second half of the rhetorical question, feel stressful. Now, there's a very significant possibility we might not feel stress in this present moment, and that's just fine. That's Jim Dandy, as a matter of fact. One moment. One, 2, 3, and 4, and do a quick repair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, how could hating, how could craving, how could vying, how could clinging? All right, let's contemplate. First, I want to make sure that, the displays are still synchronized. Having contemplated stress, let us compassionately intend, all beings stress, may I soothe. Let us use a rhetorical question to contemplate impermanence. And a final rhetorical question to further contemplate letting go. Having completed the preparatory contemplations, it's time for meditation. How do we watch the play of mind during our inhalation? By mentally reciting, notice this. Why is that? Every time we inhale, we access our sympathetic nervous system automatically. It's wired to practice the mindfulness of noticing sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, as well as emotions, intentions, reason, recollection, and imagination, and to do so in a manner spontaneous, habitual, easy, and randomly. What then are we to do with all the stuff we notice? Well, we're going to relax into its not graspable nature. And how do we do that? By mentally reciting, relaxing during each exhalation. Why would we do that? How could that work? Simple. During every exhalation, we've evolved to access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is wired to cause us to physically relax as well as mentally release. Let's meditate. Welcome to this morning's live stream. When you have questions about meditation or philosophy, type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of your screen. Buddha knows those who hold to this vow to practice who cause her to be told of and taught. May the fruit of this be supreme enlightenment beyond any confusion. As the hero, gentle voice, Mantra Shrino, so too does universal good Samantha Bandra. As I learn from them, I dedicate all this virtue. Acting in accord with it, may I remove all obstructions. May I see limitless light, Amitabha face to face, go to his land of ultimate joy. There may all these vows be complete, having fulfilled them. May I work for the benefit of all beings in the world. May I abide in the circle of the Buddha born in a beautiful lotus, and receive the prophecy of Buddhahood there in the presence of Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light. Having received the prophecy there with millions of emanations, may I work for the benefit of beings everywhere by the power of Buddha. By whatever virtue I accumulate, having invoked the vow to practice good, may the pure aspiration of the world be at once all fulfilled. By the endless surpassing blessing realized from dedication to the practice of good, may whirling submerge in the torrent of passion, go to the higher realm of limitless light Amitabha. If you feel I have earned it, type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. In approximately 2.25 hours, I would very much like to return for this Sunday's mid-morning meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.